Alright, so this is the first devlog of AxiomOne. So in this devlog, I'll be talking about what AxiomOne is, how I will be building it, and why. So starting with the what, AxiomOne is an environment for users to make their own functionality. So what that means is that all features, so all the things that the users use, will be contained inside of modules, um, which are self-contained units of functionality. So for example, you might have a to-do module, which allows users to manage tasks. You might have a notes module, or for example, a time tracker module, etc. And these can work independently, but they can also be linked. So for example, you can link a note to a task, which is linked to a time tracker entry, etc. And users can choose what modules they want. They can delete or code their own modules to fit their specific use case. So in a way, AxiomOne is a sandbox where it does whatever the user wants it to do. So the app is completely local, so everything is contained within the user's computer, and they will be able to access the app through 3 different user interfaces. So it will have a CLI, a TUI, and a GUI. So that last one will be a local web page. So yeah, I think that's about it for the what. So moving on to the how. AxiomOne will have a 3-layer architecture. So at the very bottom, we will have the kernel, which will be the very basic fundamentals, the foundations for the app to work. So we will have module registration. We will have the event bus for modules to communicate with each other. We will have a lot of other things like config management, logging, OS abstraction, etc. And last but not least, we will have the CLI. So moving on to the core, this will be sort of the high-level tools that modules will use, which work on top of the kernel. So the 2 main bits of functionality is the UI. So the core will power these 2 UIs. As I said before, the CLI will be managed independently by the kernel, and the storage system. So the storage system will work on top of the kernel, on top of the actual file system, and that's where modules will store data. So now moving on to the modules, they are entirely user defined, so users can download modules, can delete modules, code their own modules. Yeah, they can do whatever they want. And until now, I've been using productivity-based module examples, for example, a to-do app, a notes app, etc. But that's just one use case out of many. Somebody can use AxiomOne as, for example, their meal planner, or they can even make a video game inside of AxiomOne. Point is, AxiomOne can be shaped into whatever the user wants it to be. So I think that's about it for the how. Now moving on to the why. AxiomOne stands also as a critique of software, as how I view it. So I don't have that much experience. I'm almost 17. I don't have any professional experience. This is just my opinion and how I view things. But anyway, so AxiomOne is a critique on 2 fronts. So first, it's on the user's point of view. Right now, a lot of modern apps are SaaS apps. So it's a website that you log into and you use the app. And it's most of the time it's locked behind paywalls, or there's a free tier, or there's a premium tier, or whatever. The problem I have with this is that it removes all the ownership from the user. So the user doesn't own anything from the app. So you use Google Docs, but you don't own any of your documents. You use Notion, but you don't own any of your pages, and that is an issue with me. So AxiomOne stands in opposition of this, where users have full ownership. So like I said before, they can code their own modules, and they're also encouraged to go inside of the source code and really dive deep into how the app works and how they can change it if they want. So they can already make their own modules, but they can also change the core or change the kernel or change whatever else they want to. Like once they download the app and it is on their computer, they do whatever they want with it. So on top of being a critique of apps from the point of view of the user, it's also from the point of view of the dev. So right now, a lot of the dev mentality is to ship the product as fast as possible. So you will use for the quote-unquote industry standards, the optimal tech stack, and you will make all your apps with it. And that strikes an issue with me because it removes a lot of the problem solving, a lot of the creativity that comes with coding. Like I went to coding because it was a way that I could use my creativity and problem solve problems. But if everything is just a library away, then that removes a lot of the fun, and I end up just juggling libraries around. And it's also a problem for people who are coming into programming because they see people on the internet talk about tech stacks and talk about the best frameworks for 2025 or whatever, and they end up learning them first instead of really thinking about the underlying technologies. Like a lot of people that I know, for example, learn React before knowing what the DOM is, for example. And first of all, they miss out on a lot of the fun that comes with playing with these standards and with these technologies. But they will also get confused down the line because they will be dependent on the libraries. So yeah, and in that same vein, I also have a problem with the use of AI in development because of course it speeds up development, which is beneficial in the professional world. But again, if a lot of the problem solving is removed with the use of libraries, then the little that is left, if it is being done by AI, then at the end the programmer becomes a product manager. Like the actual programming has been delegated to libraries and AI, which is something I disagree with. So AxiomOne again stands in opposition of this. So which is why I will not be using any libraries nor any AI. Yeah. Again, these are all my opinions. I'm not qualified, or I don't have any experience to back up these claims. But this is just what my vision is for software. I would like people to tinker around with the tools that they use and really own them and really make them their own in a way, because I think, like, for a lot of people, for most people, I think if they just sat down a weekend, or for example made a few modules that would like replicate the functionality of, for example, a lot of SaaS apps that they use, they would first of all they would save a lot of money in subscriptions, but they would also just have fun with making something of their own and actually using it on their day-to-day. Like, I think that's lost a lot in programming as well. People program, or they make personal projects to win over recruiters in a resume. They make projects just to learn the latest libraries or tech stacks. But I think people should also make stuff just for the fun of it. Make, for example, a CLI tool that helps them in their own very niche specific use case, just because they wanted to, just because it's fun. And I think people should do this more. And with AxiomOne, I hope that kind of mentality grows and becomes more popular. So that's about it for what I was going to say. I don't have any code to show yet. This is Devlog 0. Starting from Devlog 1, I will be starting actual coding. So I'll be starting with module registration. I may do the event bus or something else, but yeah. So yeah, that's about it.